And, and Miss World 1994 is Miss India.
Welcome back to our channel. We are the Pageant Gurus, and Happy New Year to all of you watching from around the world. And this is the one that we've been waiting for a very long time. It is the season of Miss World finally coming to India, and we are super excited. And Guru has a lot to tell you about what we got on this episode, because we've got lots to discuss with you. We've got a 5-part series coming up, and Guru is going to give you all the lowdown on it. Guru, take it away.
Oh my God, finally, yes. Yesterday the teaser came out and I think it's actually happening, Emma. We're actually going to have a Miss World this year and in India. So guys, as Emma said, this is going to be a 5-part mini Miss World festivals from the Pageant Gurus. And today is the first part, which talks about the legacy of Miss World. Here we're going to take the time back, and we're going to relive some of the key moments and highlights and controversies around Miss World. The second one is all about our India, where India dominated the Miss World season, and it still does, actually. Our third section is all about our own Desi Goody Sini Shetty and why we believe that she has all it takes to be in the top 5 of Miss World 2023. And then we get into Namaste India, which is all about welcoming our delegates and understanding what's the first look and giving our initial impressions. And then it'll be the final battle, which are all about our predictions. So Emma, are you excited about inaugurating this mini festival of Miss World from the Pageant Gurus?
And exactly, and this is a special episode because we're going to give you a brief look into the history of Miss World. I think the fact is that people have forgotten how amazing and glorious Miss World has been from the conception, and it has had wonderful moments, controversial moments, and beautiful moments as well. We thought we would take you for a little journey through the Miss World history to show you exactly why this is one of my favorite pageants and I really wanted to come up again. So Guru, I think they do have potential to be the #1 pageant because, well, why don't you tell our viewers what is the Miss World history and why is it so wonderful and forgotten as well? So yeah, that's another.
I think you're right. You've used the right word. It's a forgotten legacy.
Yes.
I believe that the younger generation who has not seen and witnessed Miss World in its true glamour and glory in those years will never understand that how it differentiated itself from the likes of Miss Universe. Miss Universe was all about the women, the jazz and the swimsuits, but Miss World was very, very classy. It was all about the women. It was about taking those first steps. In fact, they were one of the first pageants who said no to swimsuits in a competition, a beauty competition. So I believe that, the way this whole pageant evolved has had its ups and downs. But right now, I do believe it's at a all-time low. And I think that's the reason why we as Pageant Gurus took it on ourselves to remind people and pageant lovers an enthusiast as to what the glory of Miss World has been. And I do completely agree, it can reclaim its legacy of being a very, very impactful, inspirational platform. While we're having business discussions around, when it comes to Miss World or Grand, this is still preserved. The core of Miss World is still preserved, and I'm so happy that it's happening in India, and we get to showcase our country as well. So, Emma, you told me about the fair judging of Miss World, and I think I agree with you. But there are other two elements about Miss World that you really like. Would you like to talk about those as well?
Yeah, exactly, Guru. Fair judging has been there, and I've noticed one thing about Miss World is that they recognize women in the truest form of what it is to be a woman, and whether it's the intellect or the beauty or the fact that they can be anything. And that's why I love the fact they brought in the athletic rounds where they were,
Or
and the fast tracks, and where they actually earned a spot rightfully, for being sporty and whatever they were good at and whatever skill they had. And
even
beauty
talent?
for the purpose, yeah, the talent really made sense. The talent was important and it made sense. And the fact is, you talk about swimsuits, it's beautiful because they, although the first pageant Rita Faria won, she was crowned in a
In a
swimsuit,
swimsuit.
and she had a cape as well with a crown and the scepter, don't know what's it called, but it was beautiful, it was so classy, it was beautifully done, it did not feel trashy at all, unlike the pageants today. And here's what I love the most: beauty with a purpose is a banner, is a motto that they live by. And beauty with a purpose really, really, impacted lives. You could see the work that they were doing, whether whatever advocacy was happening, it was not the advocacy, it was the fact that the whole organization came together to make that possible, which you don't really see now. You see that completely going dead in Miss Universe. They don't even have it in MGI, and it's too commercialized. But it was Miss World was a platform that I felt women really could voice what they wanted to do and do it and actually achieve a lot from it. And they were really recognized. And there was no favoritism that you would see from pageant powerhouses in Miss World. Everyone was equal. Everyone was uh, given this fair spotlight. Everyone was showcased. They had their favorites, but you knew when they were judged, you never felt bad, except for the last year. Except for last year, I never felt that Miss World judging was unfair or biased or rigged ever. This is the one thing that I love about this world.
If
So,
I look at the world, I do believe there are these, time phases
hmm,
or sections where you could easily divide Miss World. The first one would be, the whole Eric Morley era,
yeah,
where
yeah,
he talked about, it was about women. Let's not forget that it started off as a beauty contest, and in fact, there are few documentaries where Eric Morley is, talking very rudely to the women there, and they're actually looking at their body, statistics and all of that, and turn and do that. And then there was a time when I think he got married to Julia, and she started the whole beauty with a purpose concept in 1970. And you
hmm,
rightly mentioned, Emma, it is okay to have a motto for 1 year, 2 years, but to have it for, more than 50 years takes
yeah,
a lot of effort.
yeah.
So I salute to Julia Morley for that. It's not like MGI stop the war and then stop the war keeps changing as to what the stop the war is. You know,
They don't care.
uh,
Yeah, yeah,
so that to be stuck onto that and hold your guns and continuously work towards that and raise billions of dollars and pounds is no easy joke. So yes, we know it's going through a bit of tumultuous time, but it still has that core very much preserved. The second element was all about, when Julia Morley took over after Eric Morley passed away in the year 2000. And
hmm,
initially, I do believe that she struggled to get the same kind of authority or the same
yeah,
kind of pair that Eric Morley and the duo had. And
hmm,
because one more part, I think we discussed this, was about, when she started hosting the pageant in China. And we slowly saw that, the first time when Miss China, People's Republic of China, I think she won in 2007, that felt very, very, there were other candidates. And then again in 2012, and Sanya China, and this festival that kept happening in China, I just felt that it became very predictable and boring. There was
That's
no
actually, yeah.
excitement. There was no
Very true.
contest.
That's when, yeah, that's when the pageant actually started losing its luster and its purpose. And I was not happy the way it was organized in China. It was more like a tourism thing, so it became commercialized. You knew it became commercialized because they were promoting their tourism, and it just was in your face. I do love the era of Sun City in South Africa. I used to love
Ooh,
that. Oh my God. I think I started watching Guru when Miss Russia won in Sun City. I was like, my
1992.
God.
She was also Julia. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, Sun City was beautiful, and I loved Africa. They love Africa as well. So you'll always see an African country placing somewhere
In
because
fact,
they are very
after
smart and intelligent women, and Miss World recognizes them. Yeah.
yes, I think after the abolition of apartheid in South Africa, that's where in 1992 they hosted the pageant, and Miss South Africa was actually allowed to participate. There was a
Yeah.
long period of history where Miss South Africa could not participate because of the condition in their country.
Yeah.
And then we saw Miss South Africa coming in the top three again and again. But I do believe that was a golden period of Miss World. It was
Yes.
larger than life. I still remember
Mm.
I think we were just teenagers. We just started our teenage years, and it was like very, very ethereal that these beautiful women are there in
Everything.
such a
Yes.
beautiful resort with huge wild elephants and giraffes. Even the sets and the stage that was designed were
Yes.
brilliant. You know,
And the performers were fantastic, the judges
yeah.
were fantastic, the hosts were fantastic. They were all
True.
people we knew. They
Correct.
were
And
very,
they knew
very
they knew how to
well-known
speak. It
people. Yeah.
wasn't that, there's just any model is coming and presenting. They knew
Yeah.
how to use their voice, and they were very respectful. And there was a suspense in which the whole event was, taking
I
place,
mean, they
especially
had Iman. They had Iman as one of the
yes,
judges. I was like, oh
judges.
my God. I mean, that woman, oh, you know,
You
they had
remember when
some
she gave the best national costume to Miss Venezuela when Aishwarya Rai
yes.
won?
She
That
had
whole flamingo
the
thing
phoenix
when
like flamingo.
uh,
I don't know what was phoenix thing.
what,
Oh, it was beautiful. Oh my God. And Pierce Brosnan was the host. I
oh
mean,
ho ho,
oh my God, how can you forget that? I mean, Miss World was a class apart,
absolutely.
absolute class apart.
And,
And
and even
I
the
think
way
that,
Eric Morley used to announce the winners, as is customary, I shall announce the results in reverse order.
yeah, the
Second
first
princess,
princess. And,
second princess. It was like, wow, it's not a cheap beauty contest. It was something
yeah,
that
it
you
was
aspire.
regal. It was
It
so
was like
regal and
it's actually a queen. And when they used to win, couple of years, there was a big red sports car with open back, and there was the winner who used to parade, around the whole stadium in that
yes.
car. And your ex-winners used to come on elephants, on big
Oh,
chariots. It was so, it was so,
beautiful.
it was not in your face, but it was
No,
so, glorious. It was like we're actually watching a
absolutely.
kingdom. There's actually a princess. There's a queen that is going to be crowned.
It was
You know
almost like a fairy tale. I loved that. It was,
exactly.
yeah, it was like a fairy tale. It was very, there was a kind of a romance around it that we loved, and we fell in love with all of it. That was Miss World, and I never got to see that in any pageant. And
True.
after that, I think they did struggle. And it's sad because till the time Eric was there, things was somewhat functioning fantastically, and then it just deteriorated after that. I do wish it goes back to South Africa. I do
I
wish
think
it
the
goes back
last
to,
it went back again, a few times, but it was not the same.
yeah,
It,
it wasn't.
I think whenever it goes to South Africa or back to London, things are okay. But once it goes back to China, the same thing. It becomes such a
Mm,
boring
yeah.
festival. And I think the last era of Miss World between these was the COVID era. And I think
Mm,
that was, and it still continues,
that
was the
took a
worst
toll.
eras, where it happened in Puerto Rico. And I think one third of the girls, they fell ill, and they
Mm,
fell ill to COVID. Then they had to take them back again. Top 40 took forever and had the longest reign, Tony and Singh, and now
Oh God.
are is also taking the longest reign. So it's not even good on the fair to the reigning queens. Like let them live their life. You know,
Yeah,
these things
true.
are taxing. So just having those glitches in timing schedules is very, very important to be taken care of. And at least I think that's where we feel that Miss World, I think if it needs to get back, first thing is consistency, have the pageant every year. That is the first thing. Otherwise, people will
Hmm.
lose interest. Oh, wow.
They do need to get funding, and I do agree on you the fact that it should stay in Europe or maybe in Africa, and I don't think they should move it anywhere else. However, the history of it being in India, we did put up a fantastic show the last time it was over here, although we had many controversies. We're going to get into that much later. But, I want to see how India is going to do it. As of now, we are still in the dark. We don't know how exactly it's going to be, we have not
So
seen the
what
stage.
what
I've not seen any of it. So
I think
anyone's
what
guess
I
at this
only
point?
know is the same production house that produces Big Boss,
Mm,
and that event, the series is actually going to be producing the show. So
mhm.
definitely they have the pockets to do and put up a great show. But since we're talking of the legacy of Miss World, let's move to the very beginning as to how Miss World actually came to fruition.
Yes.
It was actually a beauty competition at the Festival of Britain in 1950,
Mm,
where Miss France, Ami Courcello, she won the pageant as the first Miss World, and Eric Morley crowned her.
mm,
And the funny part there was that the very next year, Miss Universe started, and apparently the Miss World contest had to happen only once just to celebrate the Festival of Britain. But when the Americans started Miss Universe, Eric Morley said, "Ha, we started first, we continue." So that's how it continued
first,
to
yeah.
happen year on year. So I think it was more to do with, okay, it's done well, somebody's copying us, okay, let's have the first mover advantage, and they continued. Though it did have a bit of controversy where even in the 1970s, it was, especially to certain section of people, considered as very sexist and very objectifying women.
Mm,
And there is a movie on that about Miss World when it was held in the year 1970 called Misbehaved. And Keira Knightley is there in that. And Miss Granada actually won. And
mm,
the funny part about, not the funny part, or the serious part about that whole pageant that year was that while the announcements of the winner was happening, there were grenades that were thrown on the stage, and the
oh,
competition stopped because they believed that black women were not allowed. But eventually, a black winner, Miss Granada, won that competition that year. So it was quite befitting for her to win, and she
mm,
won in a very unique crown. The crown that you see, guys, at the back has been there for I think more than 3 or 4 decades. But before that, Miss World also had different crowns. But I'm happy that they've continued with this crown.
yeah.
Yes, and then all about Sun City. Sun City, I think, was one of the best hosts. They continued, I think, from 1991, 2, 3, 4, and even 5 till 1996 when it came to India. And I think that's where, I think when Aishwarya Rai won in 1994, do you know, Emma, the host that time called Richard Steinmetz had a crush on her when she won. And
Mm,
after she won, he asked her out. But, and however, our darling Aishwarya Rai politely refused.
oh
But
my.
he had a huge crush. So if you remember, or guys, when you go back to her
Mm,
farewell walk when in 1995, when again it was held in Sun City, she was wearing this red, beautiful lehenga made by I think Ritu Kumar, or it was Sheetal Design
mm.
Studio. I'm not too sure. That time, Hemant Trivedi was huge,
Yeah, it was a red. Yes, Hemant Trivedi.
and he was announcing that and Miss World is coming, the reigning Miss World, Aishwarya Rai, and he's waiting and he's waiting and he's waiting, and she couldn't come. Then he realized that it was a malfunction. The curtains had to open and part ways automatically. It didn't happen. So he goes there and he goes towards the curtains. By that time, Aishwarya Rai ripped open the curtains apart and does her her famous.
Famous, yes. We all know that.
In the end, Richard Steinmetz and both of them, they actually go hand in hand, and Richard is blushing. Guys, we must go and see that moment.
I'm gonna go watch that
It
again.
was
Oh gosh,
amazing.
yeah.
It was too much fun. I think great
Aishwarya
time.
Rai stole a lot of hearts that
Oh my
entire
God.
year, her entire reign. We gotta. You guys want to wait for this episode where we're gonna talk about how India
Yes.
dominated Miss World, because we've got so much to say and share and remember and reminisce. So yeah, that's gonna be one amazing episode.
Another interesting thing, Emma, is that in the year 1995, Dubai hosted Miss World. Do you know that? Though
What?
it was, yeah.
It didn't happen. They were supposed to, but it didn't happen, right?
No, in 1995.
What?
Yes, guys. So this is another trivia. So while the competition happened in South Africa, parts of the introduction were shot in Dubai. So if you go back and see Miss World 1995, you will see the Yacht Club, you will see, Dera City Center, you'll see Burjuman.
Oh
You'll
my
see
God! Yeah, wait.
And that is because Emirates hosted or sponsored Miss World. That was the time when Emirates, as an airlines, wanted to position itself as a global powerhouse, and they utilized the platform of Miss World. So Miss World had so much of importance in people's lives of being an entertainment show that partners like Emirates were sponsoring the pageant. So that's an important trivia as well. Wow.
We forgot that. Now I remember. Oh God. It's been, I do feel that Miss World has way more potential than any pageant at this moment because of the way they have functioned in the past. Their format has been brilliant. The advocacies have been brilliant. I love the organization itself. It's just that they need more money. They need more money, and they need to just go back to that same formula that they had and just keep it like that.
I think the
And
head-to-head challenge, Emma, I think is a brilliant way of understanding contestants before the final night, where each of them have that small tete-a-tete with the hosts, the two of them. And unlike any other pageant, I think that's something that they should continue doing. They've got all the ingredients there, just add on some elements of the prior Miss World and then delete some of the boring elements and add a bit of competition. And I think Miss World is going to be right there. One is having consistency, the other is the format itself, because the girls are top notch. The beauty, the kind of people that, or the kind of queens that come to that competition are A grade,
Absolutely, yeah.
And they're treated well as well. They're treated with the equality. They're treated with, it's not about
And
money.
you know what I love? It's not with all the other pageants, everything goes just, it's forgotten. What the real woman is representing goes forgotten, and it goes straight to the body, the face, and the gimmicks of whether she's married or she's a baby, she's a trans woman or whatever. It just relies on gimmicks, and everything is very superficial. Miss World has never been superficial. That's why I love it so much, and all pageants right now are just tilting towards a lot of business and a lot of fake commercialism, and nothing feels real, nothing feels substantial in these women anymore. I am quite bored, and that's why I have a lot of hopes for Miss World, and I'm really really want them to pick it up. Please pick it up and don't give up. And I hope they get the right funding, because they don't have funds and they don't operate in a business sense. That is why probably they're not getting that type of funding that other pageants are. I don't know how many endorsements they have.
I do believe they have the funding. It's just that they don't have good, organization skills. How to host a pageant, how to have a good stage. There should be lighting on the stage. If they spend some of that money in just making sure that the production value of their show is high, the people would actually will be much more interested in watching it.
It used to be like that before. Guru, who is it that's gone?
Amazing.
Who is it that's gone? Who is it that's needed now? that is messing up because somebody's not doing the job now. That's why it's been so boring. So they
I
need a
just
new
feel that
host.
internal people, who are still using old technology and they're quite okay with it. I think some young blood and some fresh ideas of how to present the pageant in the most, in a fresh way, in a way that is more modern. That is one. Second is using social media to even amplify this, all what they do before the competition. I
Yeah,
think
without
these two
losing the
are
integrity of what Miss World is, someone who can just preserve that
true
legacy of it and
without,
that,
yeah,
yeah,
without
not
making
corrupting it.
just
So,
interaction. Because
yeah,
if
we
you
don't want to
remember, the
revamp.
stage was so dark last couple
We,
of times. The stage was so
oh,
bleak.
yeah,
They
it
were
was
wearing
so
black
good.
dresses. It was like a funeral, you know.
Yeah, it was
So
very,
it was like 40 girls combined on the stage, and give them time, when even when they were walking, give them time and show the dress these girls put in, and the designers put in so much of effort to get their finale gowns. I think even though swimsuit is not important, which is fine, but what they're wearing on stage, talk about it. There could be a history. That's where I think
Mhm,
Miss Universe really scores, where they talk
mhm,
about the gown, they talk about the girl. It's not just a parade show, and then we don't know what happened. You know,
mhm.
because I think some
But
criteria.
there was, Guru, there was one year of Miss World where they focused on fashion and the design had to represent a designer from their country, remember?
Correct. There used to be a designer
And
award as
they
well.
did do that, yeah. And so
They
they
do
did.
that. They do that as part of one of the events, which is your fashion
And
top.
Aishwarya Rai's time, the swimsuits were fantastic. It was a designer, and they were, although it was all the same, it was like, I think there was no specific color, like zones and all. Everyone have different colors in Miss Universe now. It was this beautiful swimsuit. They've had swimsuit rounds. They do come in swimsuit. The top 16 or top 20 were announced in swimsuits
Used
on
to.
stage.
Correct.
So I guess they don't have preliminaries like what we see in other pageants, but they
Yeah.
do have it. And it's not like they're just totally being prudish and they're not showing swimsuits. They do showcase beautiful ones. We've seen lovely ones. Priyanka wore a very pretty one. So
It's wrong. In fact, there's a
yeah,
story as there. There
Lara,
is a
not
story
Lara,
that
sorry.
there's a story that Priyanka Chopra was the only
Priyanka
one
and
who.
Diana Hayden.
Priyanka Chopra, oh, Dinah Hayden's. Okay, we will not talk. I think we
Yeah,
need
we
to take a pause here, otherwise we'll spill all the beans. I think
yeah,
the
we
next,
just got so much. I am dying to talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
I think
So,
next episode is going to be a cracker, because we're going to talk about India domination at Miss World. We have Rita
ooh,
Faria, we have Aishwarya Rai, we have Dinah Hayden, we've got Yukta Mukhi, we've got Priyanka Chopra's back to back, and we have our latest Manushi. So, guys, I do believe it is a wrap for now. Otherwise, we can go
ooh.
on and
We
on and on.
we've got so much to talk about, and the next episode is going to be fun because not only we're going to talk about the queens, we're going to talk about what the queens are doing now and how Miss World has actually helped them and impacted their lives as well. So there's so much you're going to know about these girls, and of course a little bit about Sini Shetty because we're going to do another one on her. So you don't want to miss that, and she is fantastic. And you know what? We can keep our hopes because she is remarkable. So, well, is this going to be the year of India for Miss World? We'll only know shortly. So that's it for us for today. This is just a brief journey through the Miss World pageant and what you guys probably have not known about the pageant, and a little reminder what you guys missed or forgot. So hope you enjoyed
Absolutely.
this. Yes.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. And very soon we're going to come up with our next episode. So stay tuned. But before that, please do like, subscribe, share, and comment. It means the
The bell
world to
button to
us.
be notified. Hit the bell button to be notified on all our upcoming videos. Don't forget to subscribe and join us because we do have some special things we put out for people who become members. So if you want to know some fun stuff about Pageant Gurus, don't forget to join and follow us on Instagram and let us know who is going to be your favorite for Miss World this year as well. So, well, wherever in the world you are, stay safe and stay warm because it's still very cold everywhere, except for where Guru is. I am freezing. So take care, have a wonderful, blessed weekend, and we're going to see you soon. Take care.
Shukriya.
Shukriya.